the cats on the street or dogs or whoever or even the president, they don't know this yet.
就像我们昨天去海里面放生，那我也看到很多当地人晒太阳、开游艇很快乐。我们就会想说，太阳那么大，晒太阳多痛苦，那是为了要放生才要来，所以我们会去晒太阳。那他们只是为了晒太阳，然后这边玩游艇，事实上他们也是很痛苦的。
So, for example, we went for a live release yesterday, and we saw a lot of people cruising on their boats and enjoying the sun and all. But what we're thinking is that we are here because under this shining sun, we are here to liberate the lives. But these people, they don't know yet that what they are doing or indulging in are actually sufferings and pain.
事实上，所有追求快乐都是痛苦的开始，因为想要去得到那个就会痛苦。
In fact, the moment that you want to pursue happiness, that's also the start of suffering because you will want to hold on and grasp on that happiness, and then you start to feel in pain.
就像各位现在结婚很久了也好，你会问自己，结婚到底是快乐还是痛苦？有时候就去想一想。
So I guess many of you are married for a long time, but sometimes you may ask yourself, is marriage really happy or it's actually suffering? That's a question that probably crossed your mind many times.
当然，就像你有这个身体，那到底这个身体是给你快乐还是痛苦？你想想，如果这个身体是痛苦的来源，它会生病啊。
So the same principle applies. Sometimes we'll think that having a body is a happiness or is a sufferings. But when we really think about it, when the body gets sick, it's actually a form of a pain.
但这个意思不是说我们要自杀或者离婚，而是说，那你有正确的心态，知道它会变化会苦，所以说好好的利用它，那就很好。
This is not saying that we should kill ourselves or to get divorced, but to know that and realize and also keep in mind that things can change anytime, and we should be able to face the changes when it occurs.
所以我们出家人叫自杀者，为什么这么杀掉自己的就是烦恼，杀掉自己的无明，这才是真正的自杀者。
Okay, so sometimes people would refer the monastic people as people who kill themselves. It's not in the sense of really killing themselves, but killing their, say, self-attachment or self-fixations. So that's the meaning of how monastic people are people who kill themselves.
所以我们一方面要把不好的消除掉，除了自杀这些不好的。我们还要发展出爱、慈悲、关心众生的力量。
So not only we should be killing or eliminating the negative elements, but we should also nurture the compassion and also the kindness within ourselves.
就像我有结过婚、生过小孩，那既然我生了一个小孩，他的轮回的很痛苦，所以我有个责任。也必须让这个小孩将来也能够解脱痛苦，乃至成佛。
So, like myself, I was married and I had a kid, and having a child, that means that he's still in reincarnation in the samsara. So I'm responsible for him, for his well-being.
但是我不能跟他联络，因为跟他联络会有感情。但是我要用我的心。就回向给他，诸佛菩萨加持他，就保持这个心态。
But I cannot contact him because if I contact him, I will build that attachment again. So I have to always keep him in my mind and then always having the greatest and sincere thought for him. That's how I keep the contact with him.
然后以对待这个小孩子的心来对待所有的其他的小孩子，来对待一只小猫小狗，这个就变成慈悲。
And by using the same mindset I have towards my son, I apply that to the cats, to the dogs, and to other beings, and that's how I practice equality.
所以当然我出家离开他，我会伤心。但是我师父说，那你就去孤儿院，把每一个小孩都当做你的儿子，去爱他，去教育他，这样就 OK 了。
So when I first became a monk, I was very sad that I couldn't see my son anymore. But my teacher told me that I should go to the orphanage and then see all the kids there as my own son and love them and educate them. That's how I can practice.
那我的师父也有要求，那我要经常回家看我的爸爸妈妈，但是不能去看到太太跟小孩。
And my teacher also instructed me that I should go home to see my parents, but not my wife or my son.
因为你要学习去非常孝顺你的爸爸妈妈，然后你才知道怎么去孝顺任何一个老人，任何一个众生。
Because we need to learn filial piety or being very kind and considerate of our own parents. And that way we could expand that to care for other seniors or elders.
外面在做烟供，很慈悲，很有味道，是吧？还是在煮饭。
The smell is not from the cook; it's the other masters that are doing the smoke offering at the same time.
但是这个味道很慈悲，因为佛经说那些可怜的鬼就是吸这个味道的。
But this is the smell of compassion, because as the Buddha has taught the ghost beings, the way to intake food is through inhalation.
所以这个就是修行。当你闻到味道，那你不能说我喜欢不喜欢，因为这个味道马上转为一种慈悲，那些可怜的鬼就可以吃到，就可以升天。
So this is a practice moment that when we're smelling the smell, we are not having the thought of, I don't like the smell, but we have to think of it, oh, it's for the better or for the benefits of sentient beings that they could get benefits from it. And that's transforming the smell into compassion.
所以我们每天车上都买了很多食物，准备去烧，变成很多味道，来供养佛，来布施给他们。
So in our cars every day, we are always loaded with food and powder. So wherever we go, we can do the smoke offerings and to satisfy the ghost beings, and also make the offerings to the Buddhas, to the three jewels.
所以意思是说，我们修慈悲心，我们必须真实对他有帮助才有用。
So when we are really practicing compassion, it needs to really take forms that could really and ultimately benefit other sentient beings.
就像各位，我们要去请爸爸妈妈吃饭，然后他很快乐，进一步才能够把佛法布施给他。
Just like if we would like to influence our parents to learn Dharma, you will say take them out to a nice meal first, and then the next step you can introduce them Dharma.
但是你既然要对爸爸妈妈很孝顺，结果你去杀一只牛用肉给爸爸妈妈吃，那佛教就不平等了，因为你对肉跟对爸爸妈妈要平等，不要伤害他。
But to practice filial piety or kindness towards your own parents, when you're offering the meals, you shouldn't be offering meals that with meat, because that is not equality, because you're using other lives to offer to your parents.
所以佛经说什么叫佛？绝对平等才叫佛。所以你对爸爸妈妈、对牛、对猪、对鱼都要平等，因为我们不可能去吃爸爸妈妈的肉。
So what's the word of Buddha, or in Chinese word it's "fo"? It means absolute equality. So when you are seeing a fish, you're seeing a cow or whichever, and you're treating them just the same as your parents, and you wouldn't eat your parents.
所以健康也好，得癌症也好，你要平等对待他。有钱也好，没钱也好，你要平等对待他，这个叫修行。
So whether someone is healthy or someone is sick with cancer, or someone is wealthy or someone is poor, whichever state they are, when you treat them, it's all this equal attitude that will be equal mind in.
但是因为做不到，所以那个时候你要赶快念佛或持咒，让心拉回来平等。
But it is not easy to do so. That is why when we're facing these people or these circumstances, we have to remember Buddhas right away and remind us, and so that the power and the compassion of the Buddhas could pull us back to the right mindset of equality.
所以，就像你看到你最爱、最尊敬的人，你会想要拥抱他，对他很好。那你要用这个方法来对待，甚至一只小蚂蚁、一个讨厌的人、一个伤害你的人，你都要平等对待他。
So just like when we see our most loved ones, we want to hug them, and then you should extend the same mindset and attitude when you're seeing the tiniest ant or the tiny animals or insects.
所以我们知道自己有很多问题，所以我们透过各种佛陀的方法来修行自己。
As ourselves, we have many faults in us, so that is why we learn Dharma and all these methods to help ourselves and to fix ourselves.
就像各位有家庭，那你要把你的先生当作阿弥陀佛，你要把你的太太当作观音菩萨或本尊，那你们家庭就好了。
So as many of you are married and have families, you should see your husband as Amitabha, or and you should see your wife as Avalokiteshvara, and how perfect and wholesome they are.
所以中国人说，如果你把你的先生当作皇帝，那你就是做皇后，你看多好。
There's a Chinese saying that if you see your husband as the king or the emperor and yourself is the queen, how good is that?
所以那必须要这么样的修，因为我们很会拜佛拜上师，但是你不能对佛对上师很好，那对工人很不好，那很奇怪。
So it is very easy that we respect the Buddhas and our gurus and the teachers, but we should have the same respect to, say, a worker or anyone doing some jobs that may not be as respectful or well respected in a common sense.
所以最后，我们相信有佛，但是最重要的是你要尊敬你自己，将来可以成佛，你也可以成佛。你懂得很尊敬你自己，以尊敬自己的方法去尊敬所有生命。
As we respect Buddhas, we should also know that we all are the future Buddhas too. And so we should respect ourselves. And also by doing that, we need to respect others.
所以透过尊敬别人来尊重自己，也透过尊敬自己来尊重所有生命，是平等的。
So by respecting others, we're respecting ourselves. And by respecting ourselves, we're respecting all the sentient beings. It's a vice versa in a cycle of a continuation.
所以特别佛陀讲空，就是我们不能自己单独存在，我们必须依靠别人、依靠世界、依靠阳光，我们才可以存在。所以你爱护世界、爱护别人，才是真正爱护自己。
As Buddha has taught about emptiness, there's no such I or me existence without others. And so when we are loving the world, the environment, we are also loving ourselves, and vice versa.
那最后我们留几分钟，各位如果有问题可以问。
And we have a few minutes left. If anyone have questions, please, you're welcome to ask.
他们跟我说，西方人问题很多。
They told me that Westerners usually like to raise lots of questions.
因为东方人他不问问题的。
Because in Eastern societies, people are more shy away from asking questions.
东方跟西方的差，东方人很害羞，所以他会检讨。那西方人比较不会害羞，他可以直接问你。
Eastern people are more shy in public asking questions, but Westerners are very out front. So
所以我就说，东方人要学西方人，西方人要学东方人。
So I always said that the Easterners should learn from the Westerners, and the Westerners should learn from the Easterners.
所以我们必须每天去面对各种不一样的人跟状态，从这里面去学习，很好。
So every day we should really learn and put ourselves into different situations and people, and then learn from those.
所以我的师父要我跑遍全世界， 面对不一样的人、不一样的民族、不一样的生命。他说这样你很容易学佛。
So that's why my teacher has instructed me to go around the world, work with different people of different cultures, backgrounds, and ethnicity, and all. So that way, I could practice Dharma and also help to spread Dharma in that sense.
对这个世界，你就像圆心中间那个点，然后整个世界都在你左右，在保护你，所以你必须要学习外在的一切。
Take yourself as a pivotal point of the earth, and all the circumstances and people and the global matters, they're all surrounding you, and then you have to face them and then and learn from them.
而且各位要养成一个习惯，每次我们看到太阳，我们就会拍掌。为什么？这就是感谢太阳，就会拍掌。缅甸也会，日本人也会。
In Japan and also in Burma, when people see the sun, they will clap their hands in thanking the sun.
意思是说，对太阳、对水、对土地、对花，你都要尊敬它，跟它有关系。
What does it mean is that to remind ourselves when we see, say, the flowers, the trees, the lake, the water, whichever, that we respect all these elements.
包括生病来了，你要不然他是一个朋友哦，你来了 ，OK。
Even when say people who are sick and when they come to visit you, and you should also treat them as that your own friends, very close friends.
所以什么事情都会来，什么事情都会走，他就很平等的、平静的去面对他们。
So we should learn to have the peace and ease in mind that whatever circumstance comes, it will leave and let it come and let it go.
所以有时候我们在走路，师父说，走路这个土地就是妈妈的肚子，我们是从妈妈那边生出来，要感谢这个土地。
So as my teacher has taught that when we are walking on the ground, on the earth, we have to think of it as our mother's belly, that we came from it, and that we should respect it.
所以我们看到水，那水这么漂亮，我们身上的血就是那个水，所以我们要让水干净，那你的血也会干净。
So when we see the water, it is like the streaming blood in our own bodies too. So we should protect the water sources and all, just like how we will protect our own body and our health and blood.
所以我们看到一个人或是一个生命，我们心里都会叫他妈妈，因为我们的生命是来自于他给我们，所以要让这个生命得到快乐。
So whichever beings or life that we see, we have to see them as our own mother, because without them we cannot survive.
好，有问题吗？
Okay, any questions?
How you encountered His Holiness Karmapa and the Karmakagyu tradition, and how you have worked with that in relation to your own Chinese Mahayana tradition and training and path, how that works.
Yes.
这位先生他提问就是说，师父您个人是如何把噶玛巴的教法还有噶举派的教法融入大乘佛教的佛法修行中？
中国有一句话，一颗西瓜中间旁边都很甜，实际上它都一样的。
There's a Chinese saying that a whole watermelon, even though you cut it in half, the left half and the right half is equally sweet.
所以我也经常去缅甸、泰国学他们的佛法，那跟噶玛巴的佛法一样，跟我们佛法一样，因为它只是一种佛法，是一种空气，它没什么分的。
So as I often travel to Burma and Thailand, and I learn the Hinayana tradition of Buddhism, it's the same as Karmapa's Buddhism or Kagyu lineage. All are the same. It's like breathing air.
所以噶玛巴说，一切善法都是佛法，一切佛法都是噶举的教法，没有分。
As the Karmapa has said, that all the teachings about loving compassion, all are Dharma, and all dharmas are all Kagyu and Karmapa's teachings.
所以我的师父教我，他说，如果你到一个密宗的道场，你就说你是密宗；如果你去禅宗的道场，你就说你是禅宗，不要跟他们不一样，你才学得到。
As my teacher has taught me that when I visit a Vajrayana center and I become a Vajrayana practitioner, if I go to a Zen Buddhist center and I become a Zen Buddhist practitioner, there's no differences.
所以，包括我去天主教堂，我都说我上辈子是天主教的传教士，我跟你一样。
So even when I go to a Catholic church, I would think that I was probably a missionary or a priest in my past lives. That there's no difference between them and I.
所以对我来讲，耶稣基督代表忍辱，玛利亚代表慈悲，所以我去教堂我很虔诚。
So to me, seeing Jesus Christ, it's a reminder of practicing patience, and seeing Mary Virgin, it's a form of compassion.
所以我有发愿，我下辈子还要去做神父、做牧师、做回教徒的先知，我都要去。
So I have made the vows that in future lives that I will become a priest, I will become a Muslim imam, and all.
因为我们要去接触他，妈妈不管她是天主教，她是格鲁派，她是大乘佛教，她永远都是妈妈。我如何去爱她就好了。
So it's like thinking ourselves as a mother that we will love our children or people, regardless whether they are practicing Catholics or they are Galupa tradition or they are practicing Mahayana tradition.
所以大宝法王他经常叫我去帮助格鲁巴，去帮助林马，去帮助汉传佛教，他比我还积极。他认为我是自由的，所以派我去，因为我没有那个分别。
Okay. His Holiness Karmapa has instructed me to help with the Galupa's tradition, with the Nyingma traditions and the Mahayana traditions, because I'm more in a freer state of status, so I could be able to delegate and to carry out this task.
所以我们很多台湾的出家人，他说学了噶举，他就想要换衣服。然后大宝法王说：“你跟他讲不要换，你们这个更好看。”
So many monks in Taiwan, when they started to practice Kagyu lineage, and they say they want to change robes, and His Holiness would tell me to tell them that no, don't change. The Mahayana robe looks better.
OK， 所以我想刚刚讲了，帮助众生、帮助佛法，就是供养上师最好的方法。
So like I said, helping sentient beings is the best way to make offerings to our gurus, teachers.
好，
I once asked a teacher whether a tree has Buddha nature. He said no. I guess I thought I understood what Buddha nature was, but I'm thinking that maybe I didn't. I thought Buddha nature was synonymous with life force, life itself. I'm also told that we have no more and no less Buddha nature than a little ant, that all beings have Buddha nature. So why would a tree not have Buddha nature?
这位女士她想请问的就是说，曾经有一位老师告诉她，树是没有佛性的。那她就是有点混淆说，可是不是应该说所有是有生命的都有佛性吗？
树有空性，但是没有佛性。树的本质是空，那佛性讲的是你必须有情，像人、动物，但是本质上都是空性，只是在人上叫佛性，在树叫空性。佛性是针对有情，像这个是空性。那我也是空性，但是我有感觉， 对，所以我叫佛性，我可以去爱众生。他虽然本质也空性，但是他没有爱众生的能力。
Okay, trees or plants, they have emptiness. They don't have Buddha nature. By the word Buddha nature, it means that being has the ability to love others. So us humans or animals and all have the emotional reactions and the feelings and also the ability to carry out that loving and compassion. Then that's called the Buddha nature. But emptiness is on the form in the sense that they do not have the ability to expand or to react to the loving.
但是树你要感谢它，因为它给你二氧化碳，你才可以活。那我们给它氧气，所以我们跟树是合在一起。
But do not forget that we are connected with the trees, as the tree give us oxygen, and then in return we give them carbon dioxide, and in that sense we are integrated.
There has been a lot of research done with plant communication and the way plants respond to negative or positive energy. Like water responds to positive and all the elements. So I believe that plants do respond to the energies that there is communication, plant communication, and who's to say if a plant does not express compassion too and love?
他想要继续问的问题是说，已经有一些研究，就是说水或是植物，它们有办法回应说人的一些情绪反应之类的。那这样子的话，他们不算是友情吗？
但是虽然讲树是空性啊，但是佛陀有说树里面会有友情附着在里面。释迦牟尼佛以前都做过树神，所以水也有水神。那水的本质是就是说这个桌子是无情的，但是它执着了，所以它变成一个树神。所以当然站在佛教来讲，我们要必须这样看，树也有佛性，水也有佛性。我们希望人有情众生都成佛，还是要保持这个尊重跟感恩的心。
What Master was saying is that the tree and the water or flowers, in the ultimate sense, they are in a state of